And giving goobers. We're gonna be giving goobers. We give goobers in this game. Giving goobers. I am Hyacsho, this is my show, and we're gonna be talking about Quake Dimension of the Machine. I kinda expect people to hate me for this review. Is that normal? Quake is one of the most revolutionary games ever created. We know the story. It was released by id Software in 1996. Quake took the 3D gaming to the next level for the very first time. Sure, we could talk about Doom and all of that jazz. It was never really Quake. John Carmack's 6 Degrees of Freedom game finally came to light, and it wasn't a pretend 3D game. It was the real deal. With the recently launched Quake Remastered by Night Dive Studios, its expansion, Dimension of the Machine, by Machine Games, and the 25-year anniversary of Quake, I thought it was a pretty good time to dive into one of the more obscure games that I've played, and see, just away from the nostalgia, if it holds up or not. Dimension of the Machine could be considered a DLC, but it's an expansion. It's a new episode added to the original 4. But this expansion goes far beyond any of the originals. In contrast to the originals, for me, always lacked some kind of intensity and detail. The expansion, however, is pretty good. Divided up into several sub-episodes of roughly 2 levels each, Dimension of the Machine is far more beautiful to look at than its predecessors. It increases the overall enemy count on each level, and in my opinion makes for a better overall experience than the original 4 Quake episodes. Machine Games have really managed to create an experience that is both true to the original, but improves the experience for non-veterans like me. Yeah, believe it or not, I actually never got into Quake until very much later in my life. I just missed it. I was playing a lot of Doom and Heretic. Quake's original release for me felt very much like id's attempt at a 3D tech demo rather than a dedicated gaming release like future installments. Created to show off John Carmack's 3D technology more than actually create an engaging narrative or revolutionary gameplay. While I don't personally rate the original series as something as high as Doom or any build engine game like Blood, I do recognize the polish and the dedication to improve the game. And yes, I recognize the amazing technological breakthroughs the original Quake brought to gaming in general. Dimension of the Machine takes everything good about the original Quake chapters and turns it to 11. Machine Games have taken the time to learn what each enemy is good at and placed them for optimal effect in their environment so that the player can take tactical decisions on the fly, rather than just blasting through with a grenade launcher. This is most evident in Realm of the Mechanists, the Wishing Well level. The further you run through the map, the more the enemies pile on around you and come around through the high rises. A masterstroke of level design in my opinion, and enemy placement, creating a thrilling ride of bang bang across the entire level. There's a lot of innovations like that where Machine Games really take the time to balance out level design, monster placement, and overall player experience. Yeah, look, when it comes to Quake and its weapons, I've always found them to be desired. Quake has never been really known for its weapon roster in the same way that things like Doom, Half-Life, or Blood has. The shotgun isn't very strong and feels kinda weak. Grenade launcher feels more like a weird exercise to show 3D movement through the space, and the Thunderbolt feels like nothing. It would be unfair though for me to whine about the quality of these weapons and compare them to modern counterparts in similar slots in other games, and that's not what they're designed for. But I do notice that when developers had bad stock and they make them work just the same. The nail gun is probably one of the more iconic weapons in Quake. And throughout the Dimension of the Machine, the developers have taken the time to create a more balanced roster of weaponry, not just dropping rocket launchers randomly, but not overloading you with grenades that it becomes one of the most utility weapons in the entire series, or the only utility weapon in the entire series. Sure, the weapons in Quake are trash.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
But the Dimension of the Machine balances the trash in a way that stronger weapons feel earned and not just discovered as you progress through the final levels. Before Dimension of the Machine, I generally was put off by Quake's brown, mucky, moody texture. It didn't scream appealing to me, personally, and it played those that the original chapters are somewhat tough to digest. It's like a slurry of pixels rather than a display. I mean, you know, I suppose that works for some people. I mean, look at Rot. Dimension of the Machine, though, really tries to mix up the formula wherever it can, from cosmic sky textures to green and natural environments, maybe even variants of yellows and blue in the tech bases, breaking up the mud a bit and creating a really appealing environment to fight through. More than that though, every sub-chapter from the astrologers to the mechanists are unique. The environments are inviting. They break up the dark segments with more vibrant sections, inviting the player to fight on, not just be bogged down in the normality and the sadness of the grey and brown walls. Mechanists. Out of all the improvements that Dimension of the Machine has made to the Quake formula, the environments for me has to be one that stands out the most. It gives the most energy to the overall experience of the expansion, while still being very quintessentially Quake. That and every newly added detail just screams quality and improves the immersion of the expansion over all the chapters before it. No longer a tech demo. This is what Quake should have been. Machine Games did a great job. They made sure that the expansion was respectful to the original Quake series, one that sits comfortably in the hearts of so many gamers out there, and added their own flavor, polish, and modern knowledge to the formula. Dimension of the Machine for me, though, is more than just an expansion. It's what Quake could have been. A considered, tactically intense, Lovecraftian adventure, destroying eldritch gods and blowing up ogres while giving you a balanced, inviting, engaging, and overall good gameplay experience. Dimension of the Machine, for me, in my opinion, is the best Quake has ever looked and felt. And I highly recommend it for any FPS or Quake fan. Give it a run through, see how you feel about it. I don't think I'll ever love Quake as much as others do, but fuck, I really respect this game. Anyway guys, that's my review, but that's just my opinion though. What did you think of Dimension of the Machine? Let me know in the comments, I'd really like to hear what you have to say. If you like what you see though, don't forget to drop a like or subscribe to my channel. Check out any of the other videos I have here, I'd love your feedback. And until next time guys, take care, rip and tear. Cheers.
Alright guys, let's make a new one. So, toggles between Legacy and Resurrected. Check that out. So this was the original. This was the original Diablo 2 back in the day. Okay. And this is the new remastered version. And this is the new remastered version. How lacquer is that? Check. We got the old one, and then we got the new one. That's insane. Is that another game that requires an internet connection even if it's single? No, it doesn't. So the whole point, Tova, just for your question, they were giving you an offer of connecting to having an online hero, which basically